ನಾನು ಆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಕೈ ತಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಏನೋ ಥಿಯರಿ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ ದಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ ದಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕಲಿ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನೌ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್. This is the final concept I would like to tell you. I'm sorry. I've written only 3 concepts here. Advance the knowledge for good of the society. You should advance the knowledge. Can you imagine how many papers are there in health research today? Take a guess. Millions, trillions, billions, all of the above, none of the above. MCQ. All of the above. You can't imagine. It is mind-boggling. Every year, something like 1.5 million papers come out. For the last 60 years, we can imagine. Okay? Improve the health of people worldwide. That is the purpose. You have to improve the health. Who can do better improvement of health? Doctors. Ourselves. Very good. Very, very good. Find better ways to treat and prevent disease. That's it. These are the 3 major purposes. You can add on if you want in your dissertation. The entities of science and that of medicine should be left separate. Mind you, this deliberately I put it here. The entities of science and that of medicine should be left separate. You think medical research is about science. No, it's separate. Why? And that the 2 should not flirt with each other. You understood this concept? ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಫ್ಲರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹುಡುಗಿರೆಲ್ಲ ನಕ್ಕುದು. ಹುಡುಗರೆಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಲರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. I'll just give you 2 concepts. They are separate entries because science is about research, theory, and discovery, right? Whereas medicine is about treatment, application, and patient care. Never put them together. When you take that clarity in your mind, your medical research or biomedical research will be very good. Second one, don't flirt, I said. Medicine should not chase every new scientific findings or fad without rigorous testing, ensuring treatments are proven safe and effective for patients. This is the biggest problem today. Randomized control trial done in Sweden on white skins. It's okay for black skins like Shaker and brown skins like some of you. We take it for granted. It says, oh, you give 200 whatever, 2.5 grams of metformin or 100 kg ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 60 kg 2.5 ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ 3 ದಿವಸ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇದಿ ಹತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು. So never take these facts and fads from scientific research and put it directly into it. That's called as don't flirt. Okay? Do you get an idea now? Right. The thing is institutional research. That's what we were talking in the morning. Institutional level. Kari, Kauri, another else. Institutional level. It has a different connotation when you do research in Kari. It has a different connotation. Departmental and staff level. Staff people. Promotion beku, madle beku. Promotion bada bidi. Postgraduate level and undergraduate level. I was told it's postgraduate level. Deliberately, I put undergraduate. Can you make out? The basketball. Who is the undergraduate here? The tall person or the short person? So that's it. But they are carrying the same basketball. So research doesn't change just because it's undergraduate level or institution level. Basics are the same. Keep this in mind. Today we will talk a little bit more about postgraduate level. Is it okay? Good. What is the purpose of postgraduate level? By the time I finish this slide, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನಿದ್ರೆ ಹೊಡೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ. The results of such work shall be submitted in the form of a dissertation. What? Every candidate pursuing master's degree course is required to carry out work on a selected research topic under the guidance of a recognized post. At the end of the day, postgraduate research is about coming out with a concept of the research under the guidance of a supposed to be an expert, not an expert, supposed to be an expert. Okay? Aim to train postgraduates, all those funny things is, but Can you imagine what is the most important purpose of postgraduate dissertation or research? It's a necessary evil to get your degree. Illadre degree kodalla. Never ever take your dissertation as this. It's all right, but you have to go. The reality is, I'm sorry, madam, I just put this slide while I was coming, because you must know, when I was your age 45 years ago, what happened? Not 45. ನನಗೆ ವಯಸ್ಸು ಮರ್ತೋಗಿದೆ ಬಿಡಪ್ಪ, ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿದೆ. We had no idea about research. We thought research ಮಾಡೋದು ಏನೋ ಯಾರೋ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. Today, the reality is totally different. The first one is research environment has changed drastically. It was very clean and pure. Now it is lot of people, pharmaceutical companies, etc., like that, and academic institutions which are expected to think about economic benefit and commercial present potential of the research is very important. If Carrie makes out research and doesn't bring in royalty, after 5 years they will not get any funding. ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಏನೋ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. That is the paradigm shift that has happened. 40 years ago it was not so. They just wanted scientific data upgradation. And funding authorities, somebody wants to fund, what do they expect? Long drawn out bureaucratic processes for their grant giving, and rarely ask for a systematic assessment. The last one is pharmaceutical companies. Let me not go there because you are all postgraduates right now. Now we'll come to the proper concept of research methodology. I put about three concepts here. What is this? Is it a picture or a text? It's a picture. There is no text. There is a text. Why do you think there are certain pictures without text? There are texts without picture, and there are pictures with texts. Anybody? ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂಡರ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ತಲೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So you know, right? We have two hemispheres, correct? Right and left hemisphere. The left hemisphere is mathematical. It only looks at all those words and understands. The right hemisphere is emotional. It looks at pictures and understands. Put text and picture, what happens? Acceptance is better. You put only text, what happens? If you have a small left brain and a large right brain, you put only picture and a small right brain, colorful. Look at this. This is the philosophy of research methodology. What is it? Introduction to research. Research methodology is about introducing to research field, writing, how to write a research, data collection and research, sampling, research approaches, designs from research idea to researchable problem. This is the philosophy. Methodology revolves around this. How are the concepts? I introduce you to research through methodologies. Then what do you do? Take the help of the guide to write research concept. What it is, I'll tell you. Then all those funny things happen. Okay? This is for left brain dominance. The systematic logical framework guiding how a research study is conducted, explaining the why behind the chosen techniques for data collection like surveys, interviews, experiments. How many of you understood? Nobody? Left brain. This is about the scientific component of research. What is it? Research design, area of study, population, sample and sampling techniques, instrumentation, administration of the instrumentation and whatever drugs you are using, and data analysis. This is research methodology. You understand all this. I leave my slides here. If you don't understand, 500 rupees, I'll teach you. The next 3-4 slides will be very boring. I just put it because you must know about it. This is your hardcore activity of research methodology, research philosophy, research design, research approach, research strategy, data collection, sampling, data analysis, validity and reliability, ethical consideration. How many of you know what is validity and reliability? Validity andre ಏನಪ್ಪ? ರಿಲಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೋ ಓದಲಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸರ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯು ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ನೀನೇ, ನನ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ವಿಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕಣೆ. ಅವಳ ಆಯ್ತು, ನೀನೇ ಹೇಳಮ್ಮ.
For 2 days or sometimes so the basically expiration time and the reliability is how reliable it is, how much it can.
ಹೌದಾ, ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಇವಳು ದಿನ ಅಮೆಝಾನು ಫ್ಲಿಪ್ಕಾರ್ಟ್ ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾಳೆ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ. ಹೌ ಟು ಮೆಷರ್ ಮೈ ಹೈಟ್? ಸ್ಕೇಲ್. ಗೇಣಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಲ್ವಾ? ಕಣ್ಣಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು 4 ಅಡಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡಿಟಿ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಮೆಷರಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್. ನನ್ನ ಹೈಟ್ ನ ಗೇಣಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನನ್ನ ಹೈಟ್ ನ ಐಬಾಲ್ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೇಡಿಯೋಮೀಟರ್. ಸ್ಟೇಡಿಯೋಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹೈಟ್? ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡಿಟಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಲಿಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ? See, you should understand this concept of research key components. That's why I thought I will tell you about this. What is reliability? How many of you go to your college? Everyone. How do you go to your college? By bus. So your bus comes at 8 a.m. to that particular stop. That is reliability. ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ 7:15 ಬಂತು, ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ 8:45 ಬಂತು, ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ 8 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ is it reliable? So that is reliability. When you put your ideas or whatever, it is reliable. How have you done that ideas? Valid. So this concept you should get, okay? And ethical consideration, I'll give you a simple concept. Or should I tell you here only? Ille hella ethical? Okay. What is ethics? ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್, ಕೆಳಗೆ ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಸದ್ಯ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್? ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಚಿಕ್ಕವರಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ when I was in primary school, we used to have 1 hour of moral science. ಏನದು moral science ಅಂದ್ರೆ? ಏನ್ ಮಾರಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ? ಮಾರಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Discard them. Will you read and tell me again? Yeah, it's a learning process. Even I have learned a very hard way. Morals and ethics, in simple definition, is morals is how you rightfully treat people you know. Your friends, your parents, your neighbors. There is a morality. ಏನು ಬೈಬಾರ್ದು, ಉಗಿಬಾರ್ದು, ಏನೇನೋ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ. That is morality. But what is ethics? Human rights. You can't talk to me like this, sir. Human rights. How you treat rightfully people you don't know. So there is no human morality in medicine. It is only human ethics because you treat people who are unknown to you. That is ethicality. So you should understand this dichotomy. Morality in Mysore may be different from morality in Australia or in America, but ethics is the same. So ethical consideration you should understand in a proper manner. And on 2-3 slides I'll tell you. In Mikidala theory, bitbudtini. I'll stop here for process. Do you want to ask me anything about process of research, the understanding, the philosophy? No questions andre enu gottagilla anta. Got an idea now? I wanted to give you an idea of process, the process of your purpose of research. What is the purpose of PG research? Get your degree. Got an idea now? Anyway, don't worry. You can ask me anytime. I'll be here for another hour or so. Let's go to the second component called as process of research. The process is initiated with question or a problem. That's the first step. What is the first step? How do you develop a question? ಗೈಡ್ ಇದನ್ ಕಣ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋಣ. How do you develop a question? Nobody knows, is it? By exploring ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದುರ್ಬಿನ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಓಡಾಡೋದು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳು. ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಜೋಕರ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ಜೋವಿಯಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. Correct. By reading. Very good. One. Number two, by observing. Patient papa ಕುಂಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ by observing. Number three, ಒಂದು 4-5 ಹೇಳ್ರು ಮಾರಾಯ. By reading, by observing, by ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ. ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡು. By analyzing. That is very high level of thinking. ಮೂರನೇದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ನಾಲ್ಕನೇದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಿಂಗ್. ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ನೋವು ಬಂದಾವ, ಇವು ಇದಕ್ಕೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. One is listening to erudite people. This thing. If it were to be a workshop, you could have taken each one for 10 minutes. How to develop a research question. There is a process. I told you 3-4 things. Got an idea now? So you decide about the research. Second one is objectives. Goals and sumne bardidini. Goal is a very, very difficult concept. Objectives are formulated to deal with the question or problem. What is an objective? Huh? What do you want to do? What do you want to do with the research question is objective. Step 3 is research design. You want to address the objectives of this question. What is the design you should go for? If you want to address the objective of why people smile, what is the research design you use? Atara, okay? Anyway, it's little hard for them. It's okay. Let me ask you, why people smile? What is the research design you will have? Huh?
Because we know them.
Inaba? I didn't get you. Hey, don't worry, tell me. Even I didn't know about this 10 or 20 years ago. Observational. Why urine becomes yellow? Analytical. Atara. Anyway, if you do not know, let's see. So, you put a research question according to 4 or 5 concepts I told you. Talk about the objectives. Out of this research question, I look for why people become diabetics, why certain people have high blood glucose and some people do well, etc. Some objectives. What is the design? We'll come to it later. Results are generated and finally interpretation and analysis. So what is the process of research? It's only simple 5. First one, question. Second one, now don't ask me again. ಇದನ್ನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬರ್ದೆ. ಇದು ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್, ರೈಟ್ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್? Right brain. How many of you have right brain? How many of you have left brain? ಎರಡು ಕೈನೂ ಎತ್ತದ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Now, this is very important. The process I just given you idea. How do you go about is the outline part of it. The first thing that you write is called as study protocol. First page, you take up 3 or 5 pages is your research concept that you're going to write. The first page is the outline. Research question, objectives, study design, statistical consideration, material methods and references. Deliberately I've added ethical committee clearance. Any research in the field of medicine, you should have ethical committee clearance. It's a different ball game. And postgraduates also think of funding. How do you get funding? out of pocket, parents, friends, institutions, and funding agencies. This is a, those people who are really interested in research, we can talk about this some other day. The study protocol is about subjects. How do you select the subjects and sampling design? Variables, predict, you will bada. Variables, your guide will teach you. Statistical issues is hypothesis, sampling size estimation, analytic approach. We were just discussing. He was talking about a particular thing which has given very good results about blood glucose control. Those who are not under control with insulin, put them on this. In a matter of 4, 6, 8 weeks, they have showed good diabetes control. What is that? Sampling size estimation. I want to use this thing in India. Andre. What is the population of India? 150 ಕೋಟಿ 150 ಕೋಟಿಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಆಫ್ 10% ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸತ್ಯ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. 1.5 ಕೋಟಿನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು 40 ಲಕ್ಷ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ 4 ಲಕ್ಷ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏರಿಯಾ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಹಿಮ್, ಯೂಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. Find out for the first and second year of your, or number of years you have studied here, how many diabetics per year are registered. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 200-300 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. It's easy. That is the way you have to think of sampling sizes. ಅದನ್ನ statisticians will help. Analytic approach, don't worry. I told you this. Yeah. Significant section is how you convince the funding agency. What is the significance of your research is how you convince the funding agency. Magnitude of the problem. What is known, what is not known, that is controversial, but it comes from previous studies and experts. What is not known, how will it contribute answering what is not known? There are only 3 concepts to, convince your funding agency. Magnitude of the problem. What is the magnitude of diabetes? Huh? Very high. So fantastic. Any diabetes research you want to pick up, it is easily acceptable. What is known about diabetes? Plenty. What is not known about diabetes? Huh? Plenty. So that's how you thought. And when you do this research, what is not known should become what is known. That's all significance. Funding agency will say yes. Between disciplinary knowledge, subject matter, these are the so-called types of designs. Descriptive studies. What do you do? Out of 3,575 people, 2,000 were men, 1,740 people were female. Out of 2,000 men, nonsense. Descriptive studies. So when you do the description, you get an idea whether it is more in men or women, whether it is more in young or old, etc., like that. You describe the whole thing to develop an hypothesis. Case control study. There is a diabetic, there is a non-diabetic. Appa, maga. Appa diabetic, maga not diabetic. You do that study and see their parameters. That's case control. Cohort studies. Take a group of diabetics from that area who are matched for age and sex, gender antivi. Sex andre 5 times anta helbittaro. We'll not use it. Okay? So, case control and cohort study. One cohort, you follow them up. This is a prospective study. Follow them up for next 3-5 years and find out. Giving red mud, giving yellow hay. What happens to these 2 groups? Something like that. And clinical trials, you people are going to do clinical trials in post-graduation level. Wow. Then it is really fantastic. Clinical trials, there is a pyramid. Okay? Important clinical trial we take is RCTs. What is an RCT? Randomized andre. Huh? You randomize people. Before randomize, is there any terminology? Control. RCT nal control bantala. Clinical trial. What is the prefix to RCTs? Open label. Useless. Double blind. Who is double blind? They randomized. You never use the word patients in clinical trials. It should be Subjects. Very good. Don't say patients. So the patient is subjects are blind and the investigator also. Double blind randomized control is the most important way you should do. You should have the help of a guide or some other person to help you out. And there are pseudo randomization by computers that you can do. Descriptive and analytic. RCT I have written. Double blind I have not written. You can do that. Now, the process, hypothesis formation is case reports. You look at 8 people having this problem, then become case series. Mysore-nalli, Chennai-nalli, Mumbai-nalli, ella ide madidare nodi. Then it becomes a descriptive epidemiology, animal studies, etc. This is not necessary for you, but if some of you who are very important concept of your future research, can start thinking of that. Otherwise, think of if you are doing double-blind RCTs, fantastic. Case control is quite fine. The last leg, then I'll stop talking. What is a research question? I've asked you a question, answer. What is a research question? Silence. Pin drop silence. Nobody knows. Even I didn't know. An uncertainty in a population, the investigator wishes to resolve. Very simple. There is an uncertainty that you want to resolve through. So I told you hypothesis development. So what is a hypothesis? ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ಕಣ. ನೀನ್ ಹೇಳಮ್ಮ. ಪ್ರಾಬಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. Transformation of a research question into an operational statement. Hypothesis, a statement or explanation that is suggested. Now, if you write, I've seen in our RGHS, many would write a research question, 4 lines. You've seen PHNL 4-line question, immediately it will be disqualified. It should be maximum 1 line, comfortably 1 line or maximum 2 lines. Don't write research question very long. By the time they come to the end of the question, they will have forgotten what is in the beginning. So make your research question as simple as possible. How? You develop an hypothesis. Hypothesis ke workshop nalli helidarawa nallu alternate avella helala illi. Let's do that research. This homework. Does a personalized Ayurvedic diet based on Prakriti assessment improves markers of metabolic syndrome more effectively than a standard calorie restricted diet? Good question. More line idiyalla. So you understand now. Try to shrink it. Now beku anta barididine idana. But it's a very good question for an Ayurvedic researcher. What is the hypothesis?
Will be more effective.
ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ. Is it more effective or not ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಯಾ?
Will be very effective.
That is alternate hypothesis or null adalva. Hypothesis, I told you, hypothesis development is you should bring in a lot of things. I told you gender, age, population, etc. So I'll give you an idea. The hypothesis is how many days you are going to use it, what is the Prakriti-based diet you will formulate, how many weeks you will use, what are the parameters that you look at. Sumne metabolic syndrome andre yeneno irutte, and standardized comparative study. Okay, so when you hypothesize, you should bring in the time period, you should bring in the population, you should bring in the intervention that you are going to use and things like that. If you were to be MBBS graduates, I would have given much because I do not know much about Ayurveda. Now, ethics, I've told you, right? What is bioethics? You know this fellow? V.R. Potter. This fellow is no more. He was a very famous oncologist, pediatric oncologist of America. You can imagine cancer in adults is such a horrible thing in the 70s, 60s, but nobody would survive. Pediatric oncology. Makkalige cancer bandre. So he developed the concept of biomedical ethics, which is very important. Ethics is different. So he has given you this concept. At the core is biomedical ethics. In the so-called arena of ethics, at the core is biomedical ethics, which is very, 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 very important, tough. Then becomes your moral philosophy applied, illa ide nodi, biomedical, moral, applied ethics, moral philosophy, and philosophy. Philosophy is very vague. So biomedical research you should have, and for that, for you people, postgraduates, it's very simple. What is the first ethical principle of any clinical research? Primum non nocere, do not harm. How do you decide? If it's a drug discovery, if it's a new drug, this will not be applicable because we do not know how it works. Maximize benefits and minimize harms and wrongs is the next concept of do not harm. Do not harm andre you cannot help, but maximize the benefits and minimize the things. And three basic principles are justice. What is justice? Treat everybody equally. Oh, poor man, durara, rich man, borrow. Gansu, borrow. Hengsu, get out. So justice is treat everybody, every subject equally. Respect for the persons. What is respect for the persons? Bandag ed nintkondu namaskara, kutkoli, coffee kuditira. Is it respect for the persons? Huh? That's also respect for persons. Okay. But in medical, biomedical ethics, respect for the person is you should always inform consent, confidential, all those things are there, right? But the most important, how do you say, denominator of respect for person is you should always put the person in front, not your expertise and things like that. If the person doesn't want to come, I will not give you tablets for your pain of them. That should not be the attitude. All right, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Beneficence and non-maleficence. Please understand this. The most important is primum non nocere, Latin for do not harm. How do you do that? Maximize benefits, minimize harm. Then three basic principles. Justice, treat them equally. Give autonomy to the subject. And beneficent and non-maleficent comes in. Informed consent, Nuremberg Code. Anybody knows Nuremberg? Huh? For the first time, madam, I'm seeing people, when I say, they say yes. They say no. Nam India dalli en ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? You don't know? It's called Indian head bobbing. But today I saw everybody, yes. You don't know? Very good. Nuremberg, man.
The trials were conducted unethically on the what criminals captured by the Nazi.
Not criminals. They were not criminals, Papa. They were not war criminals. Jewish. The unethical experiments done on Jewish people and prisoners of war led to a lot of problems. And Nuremberg is a city in Germany where this was adjudicated. That's why it's called Nuremberg Code, informed consent process. Adu workshop nalli helkotirtare ninge how to do that. Maybe if you do a workshop, we will help you out. Institutional Ethics Committee, Declaration of Helsinki. Helsinki yaar heltira? Where is Helsinki? Hell nal sink avogide. Helsinki. You don't know? Have you visited Helsinki? No, sir. Finland. It's in Finland. Declaration of Helsinki is very, very important for medical progression. Okay? So, Institutional Ethics Committee. Ethics Committee, nimalide alva madam? You have one. Please ask them to go through it. Respect for persons, beneficence and justice, Belmont report. Belmont yaru gottu? Turkey. Huh?
It is one of the ethics which came out from the previous study. Belmont.
ಏನ ಮಗಳೇ ನೀನು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅಮ್ಮ. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಟಸ್ಕಗಿ syphilis experiment. Can you explain something about Tuskegee? I am bowled over. Many places I go, they will not answer.
Sir, it was done from US.
USA.
It was done on male Negroes. It was done for 40 years and it was forcefully stopped in 1972.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾಳಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಇವಳು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ.
Because there was no information given to the subject.
Right. See, what happened was they picked up male blacks. Now they are called blacks. Our Negroes and and they were injected deliberately with syphilis. Followed them up for next 40 years, and so much of medical knowledge came. But when they came to know that they were not informed and they were not told about it, it became a big problem. And who apologized? Clinton, Bill Clinton. Very good. Innonsala chapadu. So this is the process. I'll not go through that and all. Finally, the sequence and cycle of research. Where do you start? Choose a research question. How do you do that? Hypothesize. How do that? Observation, reading, discussing, whatever that I said. Developing the protocol, that will help. Retesting, revising protocol, carrying well nonsense, I leave it to you. So do you understand now? The outline of a research, whether it is postgraduate or whatever, it's about study protocol, ethical issues, and if at all, funding. Study protocol, I have told you 4 or 5 things: research question, design, objectives, etc. like that. Start working on that, you will know. But the final thing, ensure subject well-being at all time. This is the most important slide that you should internalize. There are 4 people involved in the research component: investigator, sponsor, IRB or IEC, ethics committee, and study monitor. There will be a study monitor if it's a clinical trial. In this thing, if you have taken an independent professor or assistant professor, there will be study monitors. All of them, these are the qualities they should have to ensure subject well-being, which is the most important component of research. Okay? Now I'll stop here. Any process you want to know? We don't learn from those who know the most. You agree? No, sir. The best is my professor who has put in 45 years of service. He or she knows most. But we learn who can connect with us. Have I connected with you people? So you have learned better than a professor. If it were easy, everyone would do it. Let me tell you the cautionary component. If research were easy, everybody would do it. So it is extremely difficult. Inema? So become a researcher, it is much tougher than becoming a clinician. Thank you. ಸಾಕು ಇಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈಗ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಏನು ಹೋಗಿ.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very lively session, and I hope every students might have learned. Joyfully. I welcome Madam Sulachana Bhatt ma'am and Dodmani sir and Bhavya ma'am to give a token of honor for sir.
One final thing, we'll do this exercise. Everywhere I go, I do it in the beginning. All you have to do is look to the right, look to the left, and smile. Not wrong. Left and right, smile. So every day you do this. When you go to the class, look to the right and look to the left and smile. Hey, which is what? Why? Because when you smile, you produce good harmony. When you do like this.
Any questions?
Don't ask me about Shah Rukh Khan.
Questions?
You can ask me how good you have become, sir. How did you do this, sir? I'm very good.
No questions? We have shared one feedback form on Google Form with your faculty. Please complete it. And one more additional information about sir is Manipala.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, great friends of Shodaya. And sir is nephew of Ambarish.
My value is gone up to decrease.
You are the very cannot follow specific. Generally, you never told about the feedback on.